Okay, let's take a much closer look at the individual components of the expedition double suits, and also let's look at some of the features and the details that have gone into those parts of the suit. First of all, let's have a look at the inner suit. It's white, of course. It's white fabric because if you're descending off the summit, say, of Everest and you come down into the Western Cwm, it's incredibly hot. The sun is burning down onto you, and trying to cool is one of the key parts of this design. And so the suit is white because it's the most reflective, so it helps in that approach of trying to prevent overheating and heat exhaustion and dehydration. So the suit is white for that purpose. We've got red parts to the suit on the pockets and the knees and so on, purely for visibility. If somebody lower down the mountain is observing your progress and they want to be able to see you, it will be made more difficult by a fully white suit in a white background. You'd almost vanish. So the red parts are there just to make you more visible. Let's have a look at the individual parts of it. It's a one-piece suit, very soft, very lightweight. It's designed to go over base layers or next to the skin. You don't really need to wear heavy clothing or warm climbing trousers or something like that underneath. It's designed to be next to the skin. It's M1 fabric, very soft, very lightweight, downproof, very comfortable. Now let's have a look at the individual features of the suit. It's got a full length zip, two-way zip at the front, and this suit has a rainbow zip on the bum for toilet access. There's an option to use an under and up system if that's what you'd prefer. The back is white again. We've elasticated the back to pull it in so it's a good fit and to eliminate cold air spaces inside. And we have high reflect visibility strips on the back and the front. That's for safety for nighttime searches, so that reflect is picked up very quickly on the beam of a torch, so it helps with anybody looking for you. And on the back here we've got HS2 fabric. That's a more robust, heavy wearing fabric, so the bum patch there is a more robust fabric to cope with abrasion. Let's have a look at the features on the front. We've got insulated pockets on the chest. Those are bellowed pockets, so they're stash pockets, good for storing equipment and good for stashing things like mitts. They're insulated. They're Napoleon pockets, and critically, part of the system, they're accessible through the jacket. We've got a through pocket on the jacket, and that gives access to these pockets. So when you've got the full system put together and the jacket on top, you could gain access to these insulated pockets. So that makes them very good for things like a GPS or smartphone or camera equipment. Let's have a look at some of the more difficult features to know about on the system. First of all, of course, we've got pit zips on each side, and those pit zips marry up with pit zips on the jacket, so to get maximum airflow and maximum potential cooling. If you're in the full system, you've got pit zips. Of course, the whole idea of an expedition double suit, 2 layers, is to be able to cope with a bigger range of temperatures and not get into trouble with heat exhaustion. And so all the design features focused are clearly thought through for trying to maximise the potential to push away the heat problems, whether it's internally, so pit zip will deal with that. If you're generating heat, the pit zip will help, or external heat sources like the sun, then the suit's in white. So we've got pit zips there. Let's just have a look at these cuffs. We've got a couple of features here. Very lightweight, lycra on the top there, just the same as on lightweight down equipment like this, puffer jacket like the Minimus here. So a lycra cuff. And then inside the cuff there's a couple of details. We've got a thumb loop here, and that is used for, it's a slightly elasticated thumb loop, and it's used for when putting on the jacket. If you want to just help keep the sleeves down over your wrist, you can use the thumb loop, and it helps keep the sleeve on while you put your jacket over the top of your sleeve. So some people don't use them. You don't have to have them. If you don't want them, you can snip them off. They're a lightweight piece of lycra, and then you wouldn't normally use them any other time. You would just tuck them away when you don't want them. And then there's another design feature in here which is not always spotted, but that's a small pocket here to take a heat pad in it. Now those hot gel heat pads that you can get, we've been looking more closely at whether if you put a hot gel pad next to your wrist, the inside of your wrist, over those arteries, if you get some extra heat there, whether that helps to keep your hands warm. Now the system is developed as optional there, but that is a pocket. It's got a double, it's like a pillowcase pocket, so you can put a hot gel heat pad in there, and it'll stay in there, touching the wrist there. And then of course a mitt would go over the top of that. So there's a couple of hidden little details, and then there's one more. Let's just have a look at the inside of the suit. And that is these pockets. Now these are water bottle pockets. They're next to your body, underneath the inner layer, protected by both layers of the double suit, and really prevent the water from freezing. Now we've gone with double pockets, small pockets on each side of the chest. That allows you to carry 2 litres of water, and each pocket will take a half litre Nalgene pocket, water bottle, a half litre Nalgene, or a Coca-Cola bottle, something like that, or a Pepsi-Cola bottle. The reason we've gone that way is because the inner suit is a lightweight piece of equipment. It's next to the body, and it's part of a complete system, a double layered system. And we've gone with small bottles because they're flatter against the skin, flatter in the suit, and they're higher up as well. They're very easy to access, and they're high up in the suit, so they make for a very manageable system. We do actually have another water bottle pocket in this system, and that's on the jacket, and in that case we've gone with a pocket that's big enough. It's a security pocket, and it's big enough for a 1 litre Nalgene water bottle pocket. But the critical water bottle pockets are the ones right inside the system, and there's 4 slots in the suit, enough for 4 half-litre bottles, so a litre each side. Okay, so that's the basics. The hood, of course, is a lightweight hood, lycra at the front, velcroed around the chin to lock it down, to seal it in the warmth if you need to, and a small volume reducer tab on the back. So it's a lightweight hood, very manageable, and it can be we can put it on. You have the option of it either being put on there with a zip, so it can be removed and taken away if you don't want it, or sewn on. If you particularly don't want to make sure it can't be lost at all, we can sew it onto the hood collar on the collar stand. Right, so that's the critical details, the most important features of the inner suit. Let's have a look at the outer layer. Now the outer layer is made up of 2 pieces. It's made up of a pair of down-filled trousers and a jacket. Now let's look at the trousers first. The trousers come with optional braces. They're fully removable. They're attached to these square D-rings. Square rings, I guess they call them. And those are there to put braces on. I don't find I need the braces because the trousers are so light, they're not getting pulled down at all. But you can have braces if you need them. Let's look at the features of this suit, of these trousers, because there's one particular. They've got side zips with under baffles, insulated under baffles, and they're very quick access. The zips are inverted, so they come apart. The zip, to take them off, zip from the bottom and then undo them at the top, and that makes it easier to undo them. They're by your side, by your waist, and it makes it easier to put them on again because they're here rather than having to kneel down by your feet. That's the side zips. They've got a fly insulated cover over a zip. But the most important feature on this here is this slot on the front. This is what allows access to the harness. In this system, the harness goes under the trousers, it goes under the outer layer, so that we've got a potential to remove that outer layer if we get hot. So to access that zip for rope work, to tie into that harness, we've got a slot hole there, and through that hole would poke the tie-in loop on your harness, so your carabiner would be clipped on there. Okay, so that's the trousers, and that's part of this system. The way that they work is part of that system. Let's have a look at the jacket. A couple of things to note. First of all, you'll see we've got some tie-in loops on the front there. They're not for mitts, they're for lanyards. Of course, when you're wearing the outer layer, it covers the harness, so you've lost those clipping loops that you'd be normally accessing for clipping on your lanyards and your carabiners and so on. So we've put 2 loops on the front, so your rope work would come through your harness. And if you're using lanyards, if you're going into a set-up rope system, the lanyards can be tied into those clipped into those loops. They're bright yellow, they're large, they're webbing, they're bright yellow to help with visibility. When you've got an oxygen mask on and goggles, you might be steamed up a bit. It really helps to have those easily accessible and highly visible. Okay, let's have a look through more of the details on the outer layer. So it's a lightweight down jacket. It's got pit zips on the side that marry up with the pit zips on the inner suit, and you might as well look straight away at the inner pocket. We've got under the baffle, the zip baffle, we've got a through pocket zip there. There's no pocket bag on it, so you can go through it and access the pockets on the inner suit. We've got a long 2-way zip on the front, and that's covered with an over baffle, and that over baffle has got this specific flared out design at the top, and that is designed to deal with that problem of water dripping from an oxygen mask. When you use an oxygen mask, water drips from the valves, and if that drips onto a uncovered zip, it will form ice on the zip, and the zip's iced up then, and you can't get access to the inner pockets of your suit. So it's really important to have a baffle protecting the zip, and in this case we've broadened the baffle at the top to give a wider area of protection to really stop water dripping onto that zip, because that zip, the function of that zip should be maintained. On the outer, on the rest of the, let's have a look at the rest of the jacket. We've got insulated pockets there. They're stash pockets, they're large volume pockets with bellows, so they expand. Good for stashing bulky gear, but also they are insulated, so even though they're Napoleon pockets, they are insulated, and if you needed some extra insulation on your hands, if for instance you found yourself waiting somewhere on the mountain, it might be as simple that you're in a queue waiting to summit Everest, then a little bit of extra insulation for your hands is useful. So those pockets are insulated, even though they're Napoleon pockets, they are a place you can get extra warmth onto your hands. Okay, let's have a look at the waist cord on this jacket. The waist cord allows you to just trim the jacket, get a good fit, and also just pull it in a little bit so it's tidy. You don't want a really big boxy jacket, particularly if you're in technical mountaineering situations. If you're climbing on something like, if you're on K2 for instance, it really wants to be quite tidy. You don't want the suit to be getting in the way while you've got that climbing and that rope work to be done. So the waist cord is there just to pull it in. It also helps pull the jacket in. If you were going to use the jacket alone without the suit, it's a method of just being able to reduce the volume of that jacket. The jacket of course is sized to go over the suit. It's critical that each layer of this suit is allowed to loft. You want the inner suit to loft, so the outer layer is wide enough, cut wide enough to allow that maximum loft. If you were going to use the jacket on its own, low down on the mountain say, then the waist cord there allows you to just cinch it in to get a tighter fit. So that's the outer details. We've got a draw cord hem so we can cinch it in at the bottom. We've got a removable hood. The hood can be sewn on or can be put on with a zip, so it's removable. We've got a high collar, down-filled and fleece line to really seal in the warmth around your neck. And we've got adjustable Velcro cuffs to go under or over your mitts. Let's have a look inside. We've got the insulated baffle over the top. We've got that through pocket there to get into the inner suit. And then the inside, we've got another pocket on the inside. It's a large security pocket, big enough for a 1 litre Nalgene bottle. So it's another water bottle area if you need it. And if you just look at the inner there, we've got an elasticated back and elasticated panels. That just brings in the inner closer to your body, closer to the inner suit, and it just prevents any cold air, dead air being inside the clothing. You want it well fitted so that the insulation is close to your body, so that the air is held very close to you and not able to move around. So the inner of the garment is elasticated on the back just to pull it in. The inner's black. It's black on these as well. That is actually very useful. A black inner is perfect when you get a lot of sunshine. If you need to dry anything out or air it, turn it inside out, and the black absorbs the heat very quickly, doesn't it? And it warms up and dries quickly. That's why the inner suit's white. We don't want that to get hot and warm up. We want it to reflect the sun. But the inner of the outer layer, the inner fabric on the outer layer, it's black, so it can be turned inside out and dried quickly or aired. Okay, so those are the basic points. There's reflect, of course, throughout. There's reflect on the inner, there's reflect strips on the outer, and that's purely for safety, for nighttime searches. Okay, so that's a closer look there at the components of the Expedition double suit. Okay, cheers.